firing these disease detectives when we have measles outbreaks, 3,400 people from the fire service that were fired, firing air traffic controllers, and they're showing no cause, not based on performance or conduct.
Let's watch a Fox News episode with liberal Jessica Tarlov laying down some facts about the federal layoffs from Trump and Musk, so be sure to like this video, it helps us out a ton, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll be back in with the very much needed fact checks.
You need to talk about the 3,400 people from the fire service that were fired, for instance. I mean, Donald Trump was out in California talking about how we need more people working on this, that you need to be raking the leaves. Then we're firing people. There, 57% of the land in California is run by the federal government. So you need to do that. Firing these disease detectives when we have measles outbreaks, you could talk about that. Go out to your home constituents and talk about that. The nuclear weapons workers that were fired and then they had to get rehired because that was a mistake.
This is something we as the left need to continue to stress and point out all the way up until these midterm elections so we can correct what's happening. The way that these mass layoffs not only affect everyday middle-class Americans is important, the ones that fill these positions, but the way that it can devastate local economies of cities whose workforce relies heavily on federal jobs, which is all being done for clear reasons of self-interest for Trump and Musk personally, and then for the wider donor base who just wants to privatize and make corporations replace government functions, with Musk firing federal workers that target his companies with investigations and citing performance reasons, despite them getting good performance reviews in just the weeks prior, or Trump shutting down agencies that target his buddy Putin like USAID, or that keep rich guys like him from doing scams like the CFPB or the NLRB. It's not the party of the worker. It's hardly the party of the worker, especially not the party of the middle-class government worker, nor is it the party of being better on the economy like he tried to sell, because if your policies are going to objectively lead to cities going under, you're hardly good for the economy, my guy.
Or even on a day like today, and I understand that the plane flipped over in Canada, that they're firing air traffic controllers and they're showing no cause, not based on performance or conduct for doing that. They did it Friday night on Valentine's Day at 7 p.m. So
Not
you talk
Valentine's
about
Day.
the best day of the year. No, but those are real stories that are affecting Americans on the ground.
And I love how MAGA's talking point now is that, oh, well, it crashed in Canada, so it's not Trump's fault, talking about the most recent plane crash. But it's like, what about this one or this one or this one or any of the others that have happened almost back to back to back? Or the fact that the flight in question took off from Minneapolis, had its flight mapped and tracked by U.S. traffic control, and it was guided by our traffic control. But no, guys, they're all coincidences or somehow not Trump's fault. And him gutting safety regulations and mass firing traffic control and aviation safety staff has nothing to do with the status of aviation safety. Obviously, guys. I just want everyone here to think for a moment. What would MAGA be saying if it was Pete Buttigieg as the transportation secretary when all of these massive crashes started to happen? I mean, we saw one boat crash and all of MAGA was saying DEI is absolutely to blame here and that Pete was a failure and it's all of Biden's policies and it's his fault because his bad infrastructure built the bridge too low and blah, 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 blah. But now none of this could possibly be Trump's fault. None of it could be the Trump cabinet or administration's fault. It's the most hilarious kind of self-deprecation because the MAGA, they're either admitting that they were lying then under Biden to make Trump look better by comparison, and they're willing to defame their own character by admitting that they're liars now to defend Trump, or they're lying now and are willing to lie to defend Trump. But then, of course, it's just some kind of ultimate own to them on the fake news liberal media.